Remember nothing else from what you've heard today, or nothing else that I'm going to tell you. Write down, remember, engrave upon your heart those top two lines. A business is worth a multiple of how much money you can show and prove that it makes. Nothing else. Doesn't matter how much you've invested in it, how much you've invested in terms of time, equipment, nothing else matters. It's how much money a business makes. A business is just a machine that makes money. If it's not making any money, then it's really not worth very much. It's like an old Rolls Royce. If it's not working, it's sitting in the garage, it's not worth anything other than scrap. So a business is worth a multiple of how much money it makes. This pyramid here really is just showing that the multiples that we talk about, I just spoke about, really depend on how big the business is. And the bigger the business, the bigger the multiple. You'll see SDE and EBITDA there. Don't worry about those. I'll come back to those later. But you can see a smaller business, less than $1 million in revenue. Those numbers are the medians, not the average, the median. And obviously as you get slightly larger in the 1 to 5 million space, then you get a bigger multiple. And then when you get in the $5 to $50 million space, then you get a really big multiple. But it's all to do with, partly to do with the size of the business. Next, please. And also, I think we went past 2. Did we go past 1? Okay. And really this is just a range of values here. You'll see at the lower level there, anywhere between 1.4 and 3 times 3.1. And that will depend on how good the business is and what type of business it is. Yes?
Can you just ask, what is SPE and EBITDA?
I'll come back to that later. SDE means seller's discretionary earnings, which we tend to use on smaller businesses. And EBITDA is what the CPAs use on bigger businesses. Earnings before interest, tax, depreciation, and amortization.
Okay.
Okay, but I'll come back to that later. Okay, so again, as you see, the multiples increase as the business gets bigger, but also the range increases as well. At the very top end there, you'll see a range anywhere from 4.2 to 12.6 multiple. Now, the 12.6 is extreme. That was probably a medical company that had a medical widget that it had patented, and somebody else wanted to buy that company to get that patent on that widget. But again, everything's a range, and the range depends on the type of business, but also the condition the business is in. Now, you'll see there a nice little seesaw, and everything's balanced there. That's an ideal situation where maybe there isn't. On the right-hand side there, you see the red thing. The red things are negative, they're bad, but they're balanced by good things. And once everything's in line, that's fine. No business is like that. Every business has got warts and extra good things as well. So that will affect where you are in the range. Next, please. Our ideal situation is to get the good things on the left outweighing the bad things. And that way, that'll drive the range higher. That's just very simplistic, but every business has got good and bad. You just got to get the good to outweigh the bad. Next one, please. I basically put this up here just so that you can see the real interesting thing for us is this side here. This is Nevada. This is essentially us, Las Vegas. At any time, about 15 to 17% of all businesses are for sale. National studies show that 50% of businesses will change ownership once every 15 years. This is just a breakdown, I thought it was quite interesting, a breakdown of Nevada businesses. And you can see how we are different from Minnesota. Just for a piece of it, it's not on here, but there are more owner-occupied, owner-operated businesses in Minnesota than any other state in the union by a long, long way, as well as big corporations, but there's more owner-operated businesses, especially in the Minneapolis area. But you'll see here, just looking at these, it's just telling us what we know about business, that really over 99% of businesses are effectively small to medium-sized businesses. In fact, almost 92% of businesses are small business, 5 million and below. And we're no different from the rest of the country in that. Obviously, the very big businesses, those monoliths on the strip, only represent a very small proportion of our business here in Nevada. Next one, please. This really, don't get too het up with real formulas. There isn't a mathematical formula like this. The point of this is to really show that if you can decrease the risk, increase the growth, increase the income, you'll increase the value of your business. Again, if you have too much risk, that's going to drag the value of your business down. This is what I said I'd come to earlier. EBITDA, or seller's discretionary earnings. EBITDA is the number the CPAs use. It's the number that the private equity groups use in the bigger transactions. Earnings before interest, before tax, depreciation, or amortization, which means they take the bottom line of the tax return and add back depreciation, interest, amortization. That's all. And that, incidentally, is the number that the SBA look at when they decide whether they'll give you a loan. And that's why most businesses in this country, whether it's big businesses or small businesses, do not qualify for SBA loans. I've done probably more SBA loans over my time than any other broker in Las Vegas. I did a lot in Louisiana and Mississippi, a lot in North Carolina. To get an SBA loan, I'm going to sidetrack a bit here, but I think it's useful. To get an SBA loan, the first hurdle you've got to clear is there's got to be enough excess cash flow. That's bottom line number. That's the EBITDA number, the bottom line of the tax return. There's got to be enough money on there to debt service a new loan. Well, when I'm sitting with clients, and they look at each other, mom looks at pop and says, well, heck, we don't run our tax returns to Parent Uncle Sam at the end of the year. Nobody does. But that's why most businesses do not qualify for SBA loans. So you want an SBA loan, pay some tax. And believe me, if you're looking to sell your business, you'll get it back in spadefuls. Because if somebody can go to the bank to borrow money to buy your business, you'll get more money for your business. As simple as that. That's just basic economics. Seller's discretionary earnings, it's like EBITDA. We add back the depreciation, we add back the interest. We also add back the owner's salary, and we also add back anything the owner can demonstrate, whether it be with a credit card statement or a bank statement, that they ran through the business just because they were the owner. I call it trains, planes, and automobiles because I've seen all of those on tax returns. But as long as you can show it and prove it, you can line item it, we'll add it back, and that becomes part of SDE. So anybody, I would leave this one up just in case anybody is interested in looking at it. SDE is generally used for smaller businesses, EBITDA for the larger businesses. If anybody's got any questions, you're more than happy to talk to me anytime. And I think I'm finished now, Desiree. I don't need the bell of love. Thank you.
It's important to be thinking about some of these things way before time. And just maybe you didn't understand everything, maybe it all didn't sink in, but you've got it on your radar now. And so you'll be thanking Peter at some point.